Well, it's happened. It's happened in the dead of the night. We all thought it was going to happen, but maybe some of us hoped maybe it still wouldn't happen, and that, of course, is Alexander Isak has transferred to Liverpool, or at least we've got all the confirmation from the big dogs. So here we go from Romano. I think Ornstein's spoken about it as well. It's dreadful stuff. It's sickening. It's awful, really. It's unsavoury. It also was probably bound to happen. I guess I was hoping that he would be reintegrated in Newcastle. And this is as a Chelsea fan, just so Liverpool weren't so overpowered. I don't know, it's peculiar. We'll talk about the money spent, because they've spent my best part of £500 million just this summer. Like, it's crazy. We are so far removed from when Jurgen Klopp was like, well, we do things differently. We would never spend 100 million euros on a player. I think that's when Man United signed Pogba. He himself obviously signed Darwin Núñez, which was near that. And since, Liverpool are just breaking transfer records all over the gaff, mate. They did it this summer, of course, Florian Wirtz, breaking the transfer record previously set by my mob on Caicedo. And yes, Chelsea did break it twice, Enzo Fernandez and then Caicedo, but not immediately in the same window. Whereas that's what Liverpool have done, and for much more money, might I add. Of course, Florian Wirtz was like 120 million odd. I know it was more than the 115 of Caicedo. I actually saw it was reported Caicedo was less, but I think it's 115. And I know Wirtz is more. So they broke the transfer record for him. He's yet to sort of come good, but we'll give him a little bit of time, I think. And then 130 million quid for Isak. Now look, it was always going to take a lot of money for Isak, but it just really and the fact how they spent 70 million quid on Ugo Ekitike, it's just crazy. And their spend, granted their net spend isn't as, the meme here is their net spend isn't as high as Arsenal, despite spending the best part of £500 million. I mean, really? I know they got 75 million euros for Luis Diaz, which was good. I suppose they sold Núñez a little bit, but he didn't go for that much to Saudi Arabia. I'm guessing there's other players I'm missing. But anyway, we're going to get into it. So welcome back to the channel, Football Yannick. Yeah, man, really grateful for you guys hanging out here. There is daily content on this channel. Just want to check at time of recording how many subscribers I've got, because we are on the road to 20k, and I love talking about football, love doing it on here every day. Yeah, 19,733, so it's 267 subscribers off target for this, I say for the summer, sort of exiting the summer now. But if we can get those extra 300 odd in September, that would be amazing. So thank you for supporting the content, for subscribing and liking the video, and also you can you got hype points down here somewhere. Drop a hype point. Drop some hype points. I think it helps us out. But yeah, this happened. Obviously, this was the saga of the summer. He refused to play for Newcastle. The Newcastle fans have turned on him. Of course, I think we all knew as soon as they signed Nick Woltemade, the young German striker, for significant money, an 80 million euro package, we were like, ugh, that could only mean one thing. And yes, it means Liverpool have agreed to sign Alexander Isak after the first 3 Premier League games of the season, going into the international break. Of course, they've got maximum points. Of course, they are top of the Premier League. And of course, they've broken the transfer record again for another forward. Am I being bitter and salty? Absolutely. But that's what football's all about. Look, they are doing absolutely what they should be in many respects, which is strengthening from a position of strength. I support Chelsea. Good Chelsea teams of old would do that. They are clearly comfortable in PSR rules. Of course, they've generated sale revenue, but also they didn't spend any money last summer. They won the Premier League. They've got Champions League money. They are fine. One question would be, firstly, I mean, to be fair to them, like, they've only, I know it might have been copium, but I kept saying, like, they don't need a striker. I do think they've got problems elsewhere. And oh my word, if they sign Mark Guehi today, you know, we might as well just tap out and just say, give up. Do you know what I mean? But I was thinking like, they don't need to spend that insane amount of money on Isak because Ekitike does look good. Like, he looks like he can play as a striker for Liverpool. You know, we've seen Cody Gakpo play down the middle. We've seen Salah on plenty of occasions play down the middle, especially as he runs less, as he gets into his mid-30s, maybe, you know, as a man who's very much on the wrong side of his mid-30s now. You know, maybe he'd be deployed there more and they're totally comfortable and covered. Maybe that was a little bit of copium/hopium from me, because if they do want to attack all fronts, they need 2 high-quality, dedicated centre-forward options. And my word, mate, they have that now in Alexander Isak and Ugo Ekitike. And the fact that they've navigated the first 3 games through turbulence with maximum points, that man Arne Slot is blessed, I'm telling you. Because they've looked, you know, they've looked vulnerable at times. They looked vulnerable in the middle of the pitch, and indeed in central defence. Konate hasn't had the best start of the season, but if they do sign Mark Guehi, like, someone needs to sit Mark Guehi down, who, by the way, scored an absolute screamer against Aston Villa yesterday. Talk about it, you know, I'm going to be doing a lot of content here on the channel because so many things are happening. Obviously, I cover Chelsea on Football Therapy, loads of stories there, but there might be clubs like Newcastle, but like Aston Villa, that need to start pressing panic buttons. But Crystal Palace, who slapped up Aston Villa 3-0, I think it was at, you know, Villa Park. Is it Villa Park, that stadium? Yeah, am I losing my mind? You know, they will be very worried. And Mark Guehi scored an absolute screamer, goal of his career, and that could be his farewell goal to Crystal Palace fans. And they're very good, Crystal Palace. He should stay there. I'll tell you what, Guehi should stay there, because he starts for England at the moment. He's in a system that makes him look good. He can sign on a free somewhere next summer. Don't go to Liverpool, man. You know, back yourself. Tuchel will keep calling you up no matter what. Just don't go there. Do us all a favour. Because that Liverpool super team is looking frightening. And that's what I mean with the whole Isak thing. Look, I get it, he was too good to turn down. They're in a position where they can do it. I don't know why their owners, FSG, have gone from, you know, their fans being really frustrated with the lack of spend to doing the complete opposite. It's not like they've got some new owners in. They've got like a, you know, billionaire benefactor with like, or it's not like, you know, a Middle Eastern state suddenly came in, bought Liverpool and was like, yeah, we don't care about spending, we'll spend loads of money. It's the same people, but suddenly they've just decided to flip the script entirely and just spend all the money, like so hundreds and hundreds of millions. And do you reckon, like, I know Klopp said himself, he almost saw it like there was a distasteful element to spending loads of money in the transfer window. Do you reckon, even if he said that publicly, I don't know if he believed it, and you reckon Klopp, who put everything into Liverpool, is just watching Arne Slot get everything? Like, I know in his first transfer window he didn't get anything, and you could say he earned the opportunity to spend a couple $100 million, and do you know what I mean, in the transfer window, but to spend this much, Klopp must be thinking, what? I wanted Isak, Wirtz, Kerkez, Frimpong, Ekitike for hundreds and hundreds of millions. I don't know, it just seems like a pretty radical, you know, change from the ownership at Liverpool. But I do think it's weird, man, because the weakness for me is like the midfield. It will come back because it's about McAllister and Gravenberch finding form again. But, you know, that central defensive partnership does look like there's weakness. Arsenal fans who lost 1-0 at Anfield yesterday, a lot of them are upset because, and Jamie Carragher, you know, much divisive pundit and Liverpool fan and ex-pro, of course, said like a similar thing to what some Arsenal fans are upset about. Why didn't they go for Liverpool, you know, at Anfield? So many clubs, well, the first 2 clubs of the season, the first 2 games, scored against Liverpool if you go for it. They're there to be scored against. And Arsenal were really sort of pragmatic and, you know, went with like a really sort of defensive Mikel Arteta classic sort of stodgy approach. When if you started someone like it, just put Eze on, you know, Eze's fit, he's good to go, just go for Liverpool. They probably could have scored goals against them, and the fact how Arsenal's defence is so good, they would have just won. Like, there was a world probably where, of course, the only goal in the game was a Dominic Szoboszlai howitzer, super free kick, you know, goal of the season, contender, superb goal. You know, you can't really mitigate for that. That's not in the game plan. Arsenal's defence kept Liverpool out. So why couldn't you just go and score goals against them like everyone else did at the beginning of the season? And, you know, in the Community Shield as well. So that's what the frustration is there. And that, to me, highlights the fact how the weakness isn't up top, because they have scored goals, Liverpool, and yet they've just dropped 130 million on Alexander Isak. Is that me saying it's a waste and he's not going to help? No, because he's the best striker in the league, like conventional number 9 in the league. That's what I personally think. I think he's a better footballer than Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland's an amazing finisher in the 18-yard box, and the way he enters the 18-yard box and finishes is amazing, as we saw in Man City's only goal. Of course, I reacted to their disappointing loss yesterday, and how Man City are, you know, Man City fans must be looking at Liverpool right now and thinking, we're not those guys anymore. You know, I saw some, you know, Liverpool fans, sorry, Man City fans on social media saying Liverpool are essentially doing what Man City should have done once they were in a position of power, winning leagues, and it's absolutely incredible, really, man. So anyway, Isak. I'm gonna wild card my FPL and probably put him in there, depending on. He's probably going to be 15 million on Fantasy Premier League, isn't he? But it's done. They've got Isak. They are a super team. Arne Slot, like, is in dreamland, isn't he? 3 wins out of 3. Definitely not up to speed yet. Definitely not found their form yet. But they've got maximum points. They've got maximum talent after maximum spend, baby. So yeah, man. Well, the Premier League's got that juice. I mean, we'll see what happens. It's up to him now to get the best. I mean, Isak will score goals, absolutely. But I suppose the concern for Liverpool would be like the middle and the defence still. Will they be open? Will they sort out? Will there be that connection between the 2 record signings in the Premier League, Florian Wirtz and Isak? Because Wirtz is yet to get going, sort of thing. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Thank you for supporting the content by doing all the sweet stuff, liking, subscribing, and now hyping. And let's see if we can get to 20,000 subs. Hope to see you back here soon. Peace.